Here on the Jersey Magazine, she's back. Sometimes I call her my conscience. Dr. Julie, good morning and welcome back to the Jersey Magazine here on WDHA.
Good morning. Nice to be back.
And we have National Eating Season underway. That, of course, is the time between Halloween and New Year's Day. I have to admit, Dr. Julie, that what I did for Halloween was I told my wife and the kids, hide the candy. And they did a good job.
That's good. So it was a little bit of an Easter game, not just Halloween.
Yeah, sort of. We had purchased the and my wife bought the candy late, so we didn't have it sitting around tempting me as much.
Yes.
But they hit it, and then we had a lot of kids come for Halloween, so there wasn't a lot left over. So far, so good. What are some of the biggest challenges people have between now and New Year's, or as I call it, between now and New Year, New Me?
Yes, exactly. And I usually think that it's almost into February when they finally decide that their New Year's resolutions should stick. So from now until then, I find that people have things they're looking forward to, the parties, the different tastes, grandma's pies, all these different recipes that they, want to consume, more alcohol than general. And you have to be a little strategic, and it goes a long way. One of the major things that I have my patients do, and my family, and as well as myself, is if we're going to something other than a real sit-down dinner like Thanksgiving, go fed. It's totally fine to go and be fed. Then when you go and all the desserts and everything sitting on the table, you aren't so hungry. You can take a nibble, you can take a taste, you can try a lot of them. But rather than trying to fill every void that you had because you came so hungry and then loading up the 2,000 calorie, appetizers, just not needed. The other thing is make sure you drink a bunch of water before you go. And then if you're going to have a libation, have the glass of wine, have a glass of water, have a glass of wine, have a glass of water. You'll slow everything down. You won't regret so much tomorrow. And you probably won't even put pounds on if you go strategically that way. Then you can taste everything, but you don't have to load up on it.
Yeah, hydration I've found as I've gotten older is extraordinarily important for a number of different things, not just, keeping control of your weight, but just for a number of different things.
It's true. And by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So
Right.
Keep that. Nothing to do with thirst. That's, the last sign.
You mentioned calories, and I saw this on Twitter just before we started our interview. If you want to ruin your night, look at how many calories are in a 2 tablespoon serving size of salad dressing.
Oh, yeah. I'm of the ilk that you should make your own salad dressings. It takes no time. You can, use so many lovely, wonderful ingredients that are actually beneficial to you rather than, all the weird ingredients that you read in a salad dressing in a bottle that, you don't understand half of them. So, 5 simple ingredients in salad dressing is, as delicious as it gets.
You've put out some rules for holiday eating, for healthy holiday eating, I should point out. And one of them is don't mix food types and eat in the proper order. What is the proper order?
Well, not every meal will allow you to do this, and not every event will as well. But we are lacking the ability to break down our foods. We have been for a long time. Our soil has changed. Our food has changed. We can make a whole show about this, but rather than fighting it, what I do is try to overcome it. We are nutritionally deficient. We are starving. If you have a weight problem, you are missing nutrition. You are actually starving. So what I actually recommend you do is eat the protein first. The protein is the hardest to break down at a cellular level, the one you need most. So we're not making digestive enzymes at the adequate amount to break down this protein. So eat the protein first, wait 10 minutes. If you're not in a huge hurry, then wait a few minutes and then have your vegetables, your salad, your soup. Then wait, then have the carbohydrates, the potatoes, the bread, anything else that's carbohydrate. We need the protein and vegetables. By the time you get to the carbohydrates, you won't be as full. It's a lot better than eating the basket of bread on the table. If you want that, have it after you've had those other 2 things, and you will find that you're going to be satisfied sooner, and you won't be putting on empty calories because you've been loading up on the carbs.
Are you pro or anti-carb?
Everyone needs carbs, but you can get plenty of them with your vegetables. So am I anti-carb having to go eat grains? Kinda. I think that they're pretty empty, and our grains have changed. Many people talk about going across, overseas to Italy, and they said, "Oh my gosh, I ate whatever I wanted, and I gained no weight, and it was so good, and this, and I felt fine." And the soil is different, their seeds are different, they have rules that are different, so their wheat is different than any wheat we can find here. So I find people rely on it too much as well. It's so easy to have a pizza, pasta sandwich, and stress our systems. And now we don't break that down. So it ferments in the gut. We put weight on, we're tired, our hormonal system is messed up, we're not sleeping. And it has a lot to do with the empty calories that we're eating in the grains.
Interesting that you mentioned traveling in Italy. A very good friend of mine, he and his wife just came back from Italy the other day. And one of the things they were talking about was the extraordinary, one, variety of food, and two, the quality of it. And like you just said, not putting on weight.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I was there for 19 days and I didn't gain a pound. I actually lost a few pounds, and it made no sense. But I did research and I found out the reason why is all their food is real food, the kind that we grew up on before everything got altered.
Dr. Julie is my guest here on the Jersey Magazine at 105.5 WDHA. National eating season underway, that period between Halloween and New Year's Day, and the 7 healthy rules for holiday eating. One of them is don't eat when you're feeling stressed, but we're all so stressed out. I mean, that's kind of hard to manage.
I think it's the undue amount of stress. When you're truly under stress, your system cannot break down its food. Digestion does not say, wow, she's stressed, let's work so hard on that. It's other areas of the body that are really getting the attention. So under stress, this is not the time to go and have the large pizza with the extra toppings. This isn't the time to go have the pint of ice cream and sit on the couch and cry in your this is the time where you should be, making soups. You should be having maybe some smoothies, just easy food. Don't ask your digestive system to work so hard, and you'll feel better. You'll get out of your funk better. Your body will reward you because it won't be so heavy with unbroken down food, basically rotting in your gut because you can't break it down. We aren't making enough enzymes. And I've been, pushing enzymes on my patients for 31 years, high quality digestive enzymes, because it's the one way you can get the most nutrition from each one of your meals. And a lot of people are saying, well, what's the one most important thing that you would give as far in your office as a supplement? And it would be, a digestive enzyme, even over a multivitamin, because of the fact that it's going to get the nutrition from your food. Let's do that. You're buying your food, you're spending the money on it, you're preparing it, you're eating it. And the whole reason for food in the first place isn't just taste buds, it's to nourish the body.
You mentioned chewing, and you gave a specific number, chew 22 times.
Yes.
Why that number?
I made it up.
At least she's honest.
I am, but here's why. If you sit down to start to chew and you start counting out how many times you truly chew each bite, we are like dogs being flipped a piece of steak. We are swallowing it way too soon. We're putting undigested food that could have been broken down in our mouths down to the digestive system that says, all right, guys, now you're already under stress. You're not making enough enzymes. You've got a lot of weird food coming, but now we're not even going to break it down for you. Good luck. So you'll wonder why we are overweight, why we don't have energy, why we don't look the way we all did in the 70s as a general group and cross section of people. And a lot of this has to do with our digestion. So chewing your food aids in being able to get the nutrients from that food that you should be getting. I took a picture of people in Clearwater Beach, Florida in the 70s. I found it on the internet, and I was comparing it to people at Clearwater Beach in 2022. Every single person in the 70s was slender. There wasn't one person in the crowded beach shot that had a weight problem. And now we have more gyms, more health foods, more vitamins being, made, all these different things to, beat the system. And the fact is, it really does come down to our food isn't as great. We're missing nutrients from it. We're not breaking our foods down with our own enzymes. So I've been giving enzymes. The one I use is called Absorbaid because it works great.
You mentioned looking at the 2 photographs. How much of a factor do you think COVID has been in all of this?
I just think it made whatever was bad worse. So, whatever the weak points are with people, having a COVID lifestyle, generally people didn't, get clean and started, doing the right thing. Some people did. I, tried to really do that in our house. I thought, well, we have more time. Let's just, make great food and grow more stuff and, do whatever. So, but with that, most people didn't. They were learning how to use Grubhub and DoorDash and all these other weird places that I don't even know about.
Dr. Julie, my guest this morning on the Jersey Magazine at 105.5 WDHA. We were just talking about chewing, and you mentioned the even protein shakes. And here's my prop for the day, my protein shake. And I don't think about chewing it, but, you take a sip of it, and yeah, you are kind of working it around.
That's right. And, the action of chewing does stimulate your digestive enzymes to start being secreted. And you want just that action where the brain says, oh, chewing, come on, there's food coming down. And thus you secrete enzymes. So it does help to break that down and get the nutrients that you're looking for out of that shake.
One of the other tips that you give is give your food a background check. How do our listeners go about doing that?
Shop on the outside of the perimeter of the grocery store, and you probably don't have to check anything. But if you're on the internal aspects of the grocery store, those are things in packages, boxes, and cans. Those have weird ingredients. They are things you've never heard of. And unless it's an occasional condiment or something, dry goods, then you should be circling the outside, because that's where your fresh meat, your vegetables, your fruits. So many of us don't want to cook anymore. So many of us are, on a fast lifestyle. And I truly thought about this. And I think that people think that because technology improved, that our bodies should actually have come along with it. So we should be able to microwave our food and flip ourselves, some weird protein bar that, we're giving in our kids' lunches and making them, crazy and in bad moods because they're not eating real food. And we're treating ourselves like advanced computers, not like organisms that have been on this planet for a long time, and they still need the same stuff we needed 2,000 years ago, which is healthy soil, good food, fresh things, well prepared meals. And without that, we're now looking at a pretty sick society.
What's your go-to snack?
Hard-boiled egg.
Mm.
Yeah, they're easy. They're fairly cheap. You can hard boil a bunch of them, put them in the fridge. You can throw them in.
They taste good.
They do. And it's a protein snack. It has good fats. It will curb your appetite. And, how many people are, cooking dinner and the kids are whining, oh, I need a snack. I need a snack. Give them a hard boiled egg. It'd be better to do that than giving them an apple. That apple is a sugar component that now will curb their appetite for dinner. And now they're not going to eat the protein. And, they're just going to pick around and have the carb on the plate. And the fact is, you want your kids to be hungry at the table. And if you really can't wait, then give them some great protein and, get them stimulated that way as far as what the body needs in a good way.
How much like fresh fruit and things like that do you keep around your house?
I have beautiful bowls for all of it. I like when you walk into my house, it's actually my work of art for the week. I have, the oranges here and the apples here. And, I have a huge pumpkin sitting there because it's pretty. And I cook so much fresh that it's fun. And, like even when the apples are going bad, I'll cut them up and put them in the air fryer with a little bit of cinnamon on them. And now I've got, applesauce to some degree, or, little air fried, apples. So.
I mentioned when I introduced you this morning that you kind of act as my conscience, because we've had you on a number of times now on the Jersey Magazine, and I think about you a lot. We have probably every fast food restaurant known to mankind on the way from where I work to the house. So I pass all of them. And if it's been a long day and I'm tired and I'm hungry, I am so tempted to hit one of them. And I've been really good. I really have over the past, I'd say 8 to 10 months.
And we have a bunch here, but like if somebody asked me where the nearest so-and-so fast food place was, it would be hard pressed for me to tell you where it is because I don't see them. And I do recommend start making a bunch of hard-boiled eggs. And, my favorite recipe, so that everyone can take a little note, is you slice it with a little egg slicer because it makes it look all professional. Hit it with a little olive oil, a little balsamic vinegar or any vinegar, salt, pepper, oregano. And then I fill up the rest of the plate with cut up cucumbers, sometimes beets, some carrot sticks, maybe a little homemade hummus, maybe some black olives. And add some other things that are just around, and you've got a plate of just pleasure for lunch, and you feel like you've done the right thing. You've lots of different tastes for it. You haven't made mistakes, and you will, slim down and feel energetic from a meal like that.
Dr. Julie, for DHA listeners who want to learn more about you, where do they go?
Well, they should go to the Nature Sources website. It talks about the digestive enzyme that I keep mentioning here, and you should educate yourself on it because it has a lot of information. And as great as it is to hear a good story, no one's going to fix your health unless you do it for yourself. So, the fact is, find out about it. If they want some free samples, they can go to call the 1-800 number and ask for free samples of the Absorbaid, or they can get 20% off their first order. And that number is 1-800-827-7656. And check it out that way. I run the Florida Wellness Institute, and I have lots of information for you guys. So it's a pleasure for me to come and talk to more than just one person today.
Well, it's always great having you on. And, for anybody who doesn't want to wait for New Year's to have the New Year, New Me thing going on, I highly recommend you check out Dr. Julie. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Jersey Magazine this morning. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Pleasure for me too.